But the first thing that I'm going to start off, tried and true, is, what is this?
Griddle.
Okay, griddle. When we said griddle, what's the first foods that we think of?
Pancakes, burgers. Bacon. Burgers.
Pancakes, bacon, burgers, smashed burger, what else?
Fish.
Fish. I love that we always start off with breakfast, right? People think, your guests, they see a griddle, oh, it's only for breakfast. This is nothing but a large pan, so you can't cook your fish, your vegetables, yes, it makes awesome breakfast, but this is more than just for breakfast. So kind of to demonstrate that, what we're going to do is, again, direct strike bass. Our griddle, one big difference with our griddle, it is thermostatically controlled. I can set it to an exact temperature, I get more control. Our griddle, we can go as low as 100 degrees Fahrenheit or all the way up to 450 degrees. Most griddles, from my experience, whether it's commercial or residential, it's low, medium to high. All it is like that big, it goes from that thin line all the way to bigger. I'm using grapeseed oil. It is a high heat oil. You see smoke coming up. We're not burning. That's simply transferring the heat from our cold rolled steel to the oil to our fish. So today I'm using grapeseed. Grapeseed is what we consider a high heat oil. Okay. What other high heat oils are good to use? Olive oil. I try not to pass 350 because it simply burns. It becomes bitter and it doesn't help with my non-stick. Canola. That's a high heat oil. So canola, grapeseed, avocado, coconut, peanut. Does it have to be treated? Okay. So as far as griddle and like seasoning and treating it, this is nothing. You treat this like a cast iron pan. As far as maintenance and cleaning, there's two types of cleanings you have to do with your griddle. Okay. There's every single time I'm done cooking, whether it is fish, pancakes, bacon, a burger, and then there's a deep cleaning. The deep cleaning, you can do it once a day, once a week, once a month, once a year. The more you use it, the more seasoning, the more patina, the more look, personality your griddle has. Are there any differences on griddle performance against, I'll kind of split into three categories: range top, gas range, or dual fuel range. The best part is there's absolutely no performance difference between the three. So, but at the end of the day, even blanket of heat, this piece of fish on this bottom left corner is going to be exactly the same as the fish all the way on the right. So it's because we use that infrared ceramic brick plus thick cold rolled steel. From a cooking perspective, you can use aluminum, you can use steel, you can use metal, you can use rubber, you can use wood. You're never going to damage this thing. It's a wolf. It's built to last you for 20 years. Cooking is nothing but transferring heat. The heat's going from my brick to my griddle to my oil to my fish. You can see right up front, it's turning from that opaque color to white from the bottom up. I can see we're about 70% there. So in about 30 seconds, it's going to be ready to flip. It's not sticking. Why is it not sticking? Because we used the right oil, we left it alone, and it gives you fat. Right? Hope this is it has to hold up to the last time we did it. But whether it's all the way over here or on top, every piece is going to be nice, crispy, and seared. But the big difference, this is nothing but a large burner. Okay, so if I had a pot, let's say this is a pot of sauce or chicken soup, the rare occasion I use more than 4 burners at once, Thanksgiving for example, you can put your pots directly on here. Okay, set it to 100 degrees, keep it nice and warm. Put your catering trays at 100. Set it to 400 left and right, but a big pot of tomato sauce, right, or broth. As far as cleaning it, there are multiple tools that you can use. My favorite is a bench scraper like this. You can see them everywhere. They have flat top spatulas. You can use a paint scraper from a hardware store, okay? First thing I did, I took my knobs and set them to the off position. I like to do this while it's still warm, while it's still hot. It is the fastest, easiest way to clean this up. I'm going to use my scraper. I'm not putting a ton of pressure. All I'm doing is picking up any extra seasoning or oil or fond that did build up. If there's something stuck, kind of scrape it off. Everything that I scrape gets dropped into this tray here, okay? This tray, notice I'm using a towel because it does get warm while it cooks, or while I'm cooking on it, but this tray is removable, catches all your oil, all your debris, okay? This tray, for the cleanup process, first thing you have to do, turn the griddle off, scrape everything down, hand wash your tray. It takes a whole 3-4 minutes. Dawn Power Wash, Joy Degreaser, hand wash it, dry it off. So we scraped, cleaned out our tray. After that, you're going to grab a all cloth towel, not a microfiber. You're going to fill it up with water straight from the sink. Okay, make sure it's nice and filled. While the griddle is still hot, you're going to steam up the griddle. You can use your scraper, you can use a pair of tongs, but get into those corners. Loosen up any leftover fish oil that is left over. It takes a whole 30 seconds, if that, and guess what? My griddle is clean. I can confidently turn this down to 250 degrees and make French toast, and it's not going to taste like Bass. Because your flavors, your smells, your aromas come from the oil, not the griddle. We steamed it, we scraped it, we re-seasoned it. Cover that comes standard. This covers your mess. Obviously, don't put it on while it's still warm. Let it cool for about 30 minutes. But what mess, right? Cleaning this, and I cleaned this in like 3 minutes after cooking 12 or 15 pieces of fish. But let's say you're doing a party. Right, you got all the steak, you have all the vegetables here. How long would it take me to clean 4 saute pans versus 1 griddle? Too long. It's a huge perspective change. The convection steam oven is this crazy culinary tool. I used it to get a little bit of prep done for us. I simply set my oven to sous vide mode at 125 degrees. Okay, I just steamed or sous vide a bunch of steak for you folks. Some skirt steak. How appetizing does that look? Could be a lot better though, right? Like where's the crisp, where's the texture, right? We're gonna use a reverse sear method. This steak is perfectly cooked. Cooking all this steak from raw at one time, really difficult. I use the steam oven to cook it so it's safe, it's cooked to about rare, but we're gonna use our infrared broiler to get a little crisp and a little caramelization on there. And again, we're gonna dive a lot more into the steam oven as we go. I just kind of wanna show you that. But one thing that I do have to get started is our dessert. So here we have our souffle batter. But my ramekins, I did a little prep work. I have butter on the inside as well as some cinnamon sugar. I have my batter here. All you have to do is simply open up your pastry bag. It's like a stress-free dessert. But all I have to do is fill up my batter halfway first. Just some chocolate chips in the center of my batter. And then we just top it off. I'm going to kind of saute up some vegetables for us. I have my pan on induction. I use my highest mode. I have a pan here on high heat. I'm going to add just a little bit of oil to the bottom of the pan to help kind of transfer that heat. Again, I just turned both of these pans on. Okay, cold pan, high heat here, high heat here. So here I put both these pans on at the exact same time. So in here, all I have so far is oil, peppers, onions on both. Induction against our gas burner, both on high heat, induction is going to be about 40% more efficient. Every single red knob, every Wolf burner is a dual stack burner. It lets me simmer or sear on any burner. Every single burner has 2 sets of ports, a higher, a lower inner, and 2 lines, little and big. What that simply translates to in terms of cooking, it gives me more temperature range. Every single burner has 2 lines, has 2 ports. This is already sauteing, already caramelizing in about a minute. The big difference comes in temperature control. This is equivalent to cooking at 450 degrees. The big Wolf difference is I can go from high heat. I keep turning that knob. Once that knob stops, look how low that flame is. You can barely even see that flame is on. I can turn it down to a simmer, and I don't have to do this exactly what I'm doing right now, but I want to char my vegetables here. Another big difference, once that knob stops turning, you push it in, keep turning, that flame physically jumps to that lower set of ports, it switches lines, and I can still keep going down to low. So here's a little example of what high heat does. My peppers and onions are done. I still want a little bit of crunch on there. You can see some char, but how long did that take? A couple minutes. Heat is an ingredient. High heat, low salt, peppers and onions. Okay, I get the exact same result whether it's on induction or gas. There is no performance difference. I can confidently turn here and you cannot tell what's what. There is no performance difference, gas or induction. As another example, how many times have I touched this pot since we started? Not once. Big pot of rice. Okay, you can see I've never stirred it. Delicate, fluffy rice. Right, I'm trying to go to the bottom. You can kind of see, but there is no layer on the bottom. This is a crazy culinary magical tool, the steam oven. It's first and foremost a convection oven. Whatever I do in here, whatever I do in here and here, this is first and foremost a oven. Okay, this is your first go-to primary oven. Now because it's steam injected, that is another Wolf difference. There's steam injected versus steam assist. Steam assist is you open up your oven, throw some water in there, close it. Steam injection, allows me to control the temperature of my steam. Steam injection against steam assisted, huge difference. A convection oven is nothing but a cavity with whether one fan or two fans in the back that's circulating hot heated air. It's because convection helps brown, it helps crisp, it helps caramelize, it helps cook faster. If you cook something faster, it spends less time in this violent environment. At the end of the day, using that fan makes your food taste better because it's crispier, it's browner, it's cooked faster, retains more moisture. Steam is much more efficient at transferring heat and energy. This is first and foremost a convection oven. So anything I can do in here, I can do roasted potatoes, I can do asparagus, roasted chicken, just like I would in a full-size oven. I can use convection on its own. I can use steam on its own. I can also use combination of both, which simply means I can steam and roast at the same time. So can I brown in a steam oven? Absolutely. Convection is traditional rotisserie chicken. Convection steam, the chicken cooks faster. It's just as brown, except the difference, steam cooked it so fast that it's cooked about 30% faster, and it's just much more tender, because if you cook something faster, it's more efficient, it retains more moisture. The steam oven does all these things, except it cannot make popcorn, and it's really not great at reheating liquid. If you really need a microwave, you put one in your island, put one in the butler's pantry, put one in the garage. Reheating your leftovers now in here because they taste better. But how many times did we rotate our desserts since they went in? Not one. This is what convection does. We didn't rotate them, whether it's cookies, whether it is roasted vegetables. You don't have to play this game anymore. Convection, at the end of the day, makes your food taste better. Be careful, it is a little bit warm, but I want you folks to enjoy. So the big wolf difference, the biggest thing I want you guys to take away, all of our appliances, whether it's a little cooktop or a full 60-inch range, all American made. We have two manufacturing plants, Goodyear, Arizona, Fitchburg, Wisconsin. Made in USA, made with the same quality, same standards. Every single appliance, whether it's Sub-Zero refrigeration, Cove dishwasher, Wolf cooking, they are all hand tested, and then hand tested again and again. Every single appliance is built to last with a 20-year life expectancy. Gas range, dual fuel range. Gas range, gas cooking on top, gas ovens below. Dual fuel, gas on top, electric ovens below. Dual fuel range, the oven below on the dual fuel, guess what, is the exact same M series as on the wall. Gas range where it's a little bit more different. Gas on top, gas below. I have a button for a light. I have a button to turn one fan on. I can set it to broil. I can set the oven temperature. M series, dual fuel, E series, gourmet mode, temperature probes. Gourmet is that self-cooking mode. Gas range, because all my heat is always concentrated on the bottom. My heating element, this is where all my heat comes from, as opposed to my electric ovens where your heat on convection comes from the fans. All of our convection ovens, besides the gas range, there are heating elements on the back of the fans that blows hot heated air, as opposed to a gas range where there's heat rising and it's just moving air. That's the difference.
But the cleaning I'm going to do is pretty much aesthetic. This griddle back here, we don't deep clean hardly ever. We leave it like this. If you can see, it's got a nice heavy layer of seasoning on it. That's okay. This patina, this seasoning, adds in the non-stick and the grill and the sear capability of your griddle. So here's the method we use. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that same high heat, high smoke point oil that we use to cook with, in this case grapeseed oil. This is on right now. Chef was nice enough to turn this to 300 for me. And that's where you want it when you clean. You don't want it turned all the way off and cooled down, because the oil is going to congeal on there. It's going to be really hard to work with. Griddle Cleaning Kit, available on the Wolf website. Just have to search for Griddle Cleaning Kit. Make sure it's got 3 components. Scouring pad, looks like a little screen door. Buffing pad, looks like a coarse red sponge. And a cute little blue handle. Now, if they don't like the blue handle, there's a lot of different options. They do make them with these big long handles, so you can kind of clean back here in your nice clothes if you want. I like to stay up on top of it. I feel like I can clean it a little bit easier. So my oil is shimmering. I'm going to go scouring pad first, buffing pad, little blue handle. And here is the bad news, right? You do have to do a little bit of elbow grease. And I'm putting pressure, but I'm not going to break a sweat or anything. I'm just kind of leaning into it a little bit, letting the scouring pad do its job. Top to bottom, left to right. How clean you want to get your griddle is in direct proportion to how long you want to do this for. So what I did is I just flipped this over to the buffing pad. I'm going to repeat the process. And then it's kind of like when Chef was cooking, when you stop feeling resistance, kind of like playing air hockey, you are in business. So then we just remove our assembly here. Give it a scrape, little wipe with a cloth towel, and the big reveal, right? And I went from here to here. Again, the perspective change is important to me when I'm speaking to folks that are considering the griddle. Is I know a lot of folks take one look at it and just think, it's going to be, I don't want to deal with that mess. But if I was going to cook all those pieces of striped bass or a whole bunch of French toaster pancakes, how many pans would I need to use? 15 pieces of fish in saute pans that would all come off at the same time, same doneness, same crust. 3, 4, 5 pans, right? At least. How long would it take to clean those 5 pans? More than 3 minutes, right? You got to scrub them, you got to soak them, you got to put them in the dish machine for an hour and a half. So this really is not as complicated as a lot of folks get into their heads that it's going to be. You know, it actually is a pretty easy way to cook large quantities of food. Want to do it quicker than 3 minutes? Boom. 10 seconds, right? And that's ready for the in-laws to come over. That's the way to go. This comes standard with all griddles, single or double. We also have this available as an accessory. That's more what I like, because then you gain that functionality of the extra cutting board, a little bit more counter space, and it just looks nice. So, but this is an accessory. The cover, it comes standard with every griddle.